tonight with breaking news from the Illinois EPA regarding the Chemtool fire. The EPA says a contractor from Chemtool fighting the fire used 3,200 gallons of a fluorinated foam that may have chemicals that the EPA is now concerned about. It says the fire itself did not impact the Rock River, but this fluorinated foam to put out the fire may have. It may have also have chemicals that could harm the river. The company has switched to non-fluorine foam without harmful chemicals. And just this morning, we asked the Rockton Fire Chief if fluorinated foam was used. He said no.
The foam that is actually being used right now is non-fluorinated, so it's a safe foam. We asked them to not use fluorinated foam, but again, as the EPA mentioned yesterday, that the material safety data sheets have not been given to us yet, but they're ensuring us that the foam that's being used is non-fluorinated. And please understand too that we have large vacuuming trucks that are actually vacuuming any of the runoff and removing those to a hazardous material site.
The EPA is still testing the river to see if those chemicals got into it and also looking to see if it has reached the Rock River. So far, it hasn't. That fire now burns for a third day. It's expected to burn for several more. Authorities say they can't determine when it will be safe for people inside the evacuation zone to return home. We'll get to why that is here in a moment, but we did get some good news today. The Winnebago County Health Department lifted its mask recommendation for people up to 3 miles away from the plant. The EPA says testing over the last 24 hours shows it is safe to take off your mask in a 3-mile radius, which also includes Settlers Park, where Old Settlers Days kicks off tomorrow. But another night of evacuation means another night families are away from their homes. Our 13 News reporter Lauren Baker joins us live tonight with why leaders say you can take off your mask, but some can't head back home. Lauren.
Well, James, leaders say they understand why you or a loved one may be frustrated that you aren't able to go home just yet, but they say that the testing only shows that the air quality in the area is okay. What's still to be determined is what the debris actually is that has fallen into the evacuation zone.
We understand the distress and the trauma and the turmoil that this is causing for so many of our residents and our businesses in the community. But we are doing this as an utmost precaution.
Dr. Sandra Martell says it's unclear what materials are in that debris that landed into the evacuation zone. The debris could be anything from plastic inside of rooms or cars or leather from the plants. Now, along with the air quality, officials say the water quality is still okay, and they're going to continue to track the air and water quality. They're also going to test for random things like roofs, playgrounds, equipment, and doorknobs of homes to see what has fallen in that area. They say if people were to go home now and do things like run their power washes or run their lawnmowers, it can move around dust particles. Because officials aren't 100% sure of what has landed in that area yet, they want to keep people out until they know for sure.
We don't know what the environmental impact of this particular site is going to be in the next 5 or 10 years. We're not sure, but time will tell. So that's why it's important for us to do our due diligence and to make sure what we're doing is not only safe for us today, but for our future as well.
Now, officials say they hope to have the preliminary results of the debris testing tomorrow so they can have a better idea of when people can go home. Reporting in Rockton for your 13 Weather Authority, I'm Lauren Baker. Back to you in the studio.
Lauren, thank you. Let's continue to talk about the air quality. It stayed good for most of the day, which is good news. How are atmospheric conditions looking tonight, Alex?
So another temperature inversion may set up. We've mentioned this the past couple of days, but basically the atmosphere can kind of form a lid, which can help keep that smoke a lot closer to the ground, so therefore the air quality may suffer. For right now, though, air quality is still listed as good according to the Illinois EPA, and we continue to see that moving forward into later on tonight. Though by tomorrow morning, that could be different with the temperature inversion in play. You can see the EPA's forecast for Thursday and Friday has us at more of a moderate level, which is still good for most folks. But if you're in that sensitive group, say you have asthma or are affected by particles and ozone floating around, take those necessary precautions over the next couple days. And with that inversion, again, it can trap some smoke close to the ground, likely again tonight. By Friday morning, though, inversion not likely, but we do have showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, and maybe the possibility of severe ones. I'll track that coming up. James, back to you.
Alex, thanks. New at 6 tonight. We've also got some rain in the forecast that could impact the environment around the Chemtool plant fire.
The solution to pollution is dilution. So rain is a natural kind of cleansing, and so we'll have some information if it rains, but you can't count on it, right? We've had rain predicted before in the last couple of weeks, but the idea that they will sample before, and our plan is also to sample afterward to see if those concentrations drop and what shows up in our storm sewers as well.
And the largest music festival in our area, Old Settlers Days, will happen, even though it's so close to that 1-mile radius of the plant. Officials continue to say that while they are monitoring the fire, there are no plans to cancel the festival. Last year's festival canceled due to COVID-19. So this would be the first time the event has been held in the last 2 years. To give you an update on how close the festival is to that fire, the event takes place at Settlers Park. That's next to the Rock River. That's more than 2.5 miles away from the Chemtool plant if you're driving. It is just outside the 1-mile evacuation zone. According to our map, it is close to the edge of it. You can see it there on the southern edge. Winnebago County Public Health Administrator Dr. Sandra Martell explained what you should do if you're planning on going to the festival.
The masking recommendation has been lifted, but if you're an individual with underlying respiratory conditions, you should, again, this is a time frame where there is particulate matter. We're going to see some smoke for a while yet, but the event organizers have been working diligently with the Emergency Operations Center to prepare for the event so that it can be held safely.
Now, since this massive fire started, firefighters from departments across Illinois, Wisconsin, and even farther have come to lend a hand. Our 13 News reporter Mary Sugden live with a look tonight at the size of the scope of the effort tonight. Mary?
Yeah, James, that's right. Right now I'm outside Rockton Fire Department's Station 1, but inside right now you really won't find Rockton firefighters or even Rockton engines or ambulances. That's because right now this station here being staffed by outside agencies as those Rockton firefighters continue their response to the Chemtool fire. Now, earlier today we saw agencies here. You actually see one leaving here right now. It's going to get a little loud, but we saw agencies here from Pingree Grove and South Elgin. And as you can see right now here, agencies from Glenside Fire District, and we've got another one from Addison Fire District actually taking off right now. They were the ones who came in kind of during that changing of the guard that happened at 5 o'clock. Now, according to the Emergency Operations Center that's handling all of this, here's some of those total numbers of operational support. We know that 28 departments have come with their chiefs, 22 departments with ambulances, 54 with engines, 29 with trucks, 59 with tenders, 3 squads, 12 brush trucks, and 28 with miscellaneous equipment. So again, talking to some of these agencies here earlier this morning, what they explained to me is that this is basically running in 12-hour shifts. The first group getting here at 5 a.m. They again left at 5 p.m. kind of with that changing of the guard. So they're just really here to provide that support to handle, as you saw, go to calls that happen here in Rockton as those Rockton firefighters respond to the Chemtool situation. But for now, reporting live, I'm Mary Sugden for 13 News. James, back to you in the studio.
Interesting to see, Mary, those two different departments coming out of a same department in Rockton. Thank you for that. If you aren't able to get your mail at your home in Rockton, you can pick it up at the Rockton Post Office. Starting today, mail will be available for pickup at the post office on West Main Street. You will need proper identification to get the mail that is addressed to you. You can only collect mail that matches the name and address on your ID. If there's more than one family name at the address, each member would have to show a separate ID to get their mail. You can continue picking it up at the post office until regular delivery restarts. And members of the Rockton community get help from a global organization.
We as Christians love getting out and just helping general mankind wherever we can. That's really where RRT comes from, is just that general heart to help the community.
Rapid Relief Team, also known as RRT, is making food for others at the Rockton Fire Protection District. This morning, the group served breakfast to 30 crew members. Then this afternoon, it made roughly 200 burgers for workers at Chemtool, and RRT will continue serving them tomorrow.
I'm having fun today, and I really feel good, and the team really feels good about what we're doing today, and that's what we thrive on. So we're, again, very honored to be included on this event.
Now, as of right now, not another press conference scheduled for today regarding the Chemtool plant fire. We, of course, will continue to provide the latest information on our website, WREX.com. You can also get notified about breaking news, especially the breaking news we told you about at the top of the show, using that fluorinated foam. Just download the 13 WREX app.